Chad Hasty Show, News Talk, 95.1 FM and 790 AM KFYO. In studio with us, back in studio actually with us, author KJ Waters. Welcome back.
Thank you so much. It's amazing to be back.
Well, it's glad to have you back in studio. And, of course, you have a brand new book out. That's why we have you in studio.
That's right. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Tell us about your new book.
Well, it's called Shattering Time, and it's the second book in the Stealing Time series. And the first book started with it's a time travel adventure show, movie. I'm sorry, book. I'm sorry.
Hey, it might be a movie coming up
I want
soon.
it to be a movie. I actually had producers call me at one point. But anyway, it's a book that starts off with Ronnie Andrews, and it's around the summer of 2004 in Florida, where there were 4 hurricanes that hit. 4 major hurricanes hit Florida in about 6 weeks period, and each book covers one of the hurricanes. So The first book is Hurricane Charlie, and it starts with Ronnie Andrews. It's her birthday, and the hurricane is about to hit, and she runs to her boyfriend's weather lab where they have power. It's safe. It's air conditioned. And during the storm, she goes back in time to 1752 London. And that is a time where women were used more as property and that kind of thing. And so they notice that she's a little weird. She's very modern. She's very independent. And they think that she may be a witch. So her problems mount as that book goes on. And so that is the premise of the first story. The other half of that story is that her friend is during the storm in Florida trying to survive Hurricane Charlie, which is a really wicked storm. The second book starts immediately after that is finished. And it's called Shattering Time. And it's Hurricane Francis is now coming. And that storm is the size of Texas. It was huge. So no matter where you were in Florida, you were going to be hit by this storm. Ronnie tries to escape. Is not able to, and she decides to not go to Jeffrey's lab just in case there was something fishy there. She doesn't realize that he may be behind it, but her best friend has suspicions. So during the storm, she invites Jeffrey's over her house. She invites her best friend, Stephanie McKay, her boyfriend, and then her very flavorful friend, Steph's brother, Ian McKay. And all of those people are cooped up during the storm, and Jeffrey gets mad about that. He doesn't like any of these people, so he leaves. But he is actually the one who's running the time travel experiment on her. She doesn't know. So he has to go somewhere nearby. His dilemma is like, now what? I had this great deal set up to send her back. But during the storm, she goes back to several different places. And the first one is 1952, Florida. There's a small tropical storm that hits, and it's a very brief encounter. And then she comes back. She ends up going to 1666 London. And for those of you who know your history, that was the Fire of London. And she ends up going into a body of a little girl who has the bubonic plague. So she gets to enjoy not only the plague, but a fire. And that was a lot of fun to write. And then she comes back, and there's other adventures. The last place she goes is something that I find completely fascinating. It was a little piece of history. It's the very first mystery in America, and it was the lost colony of Roanoke Island. And this is a time where England had come and they set up a small colony, and they were having trouble with the Native American population. And so their governor sailed back home to England to get reinforcements and supplies. And when he came back 2 years later, the island was gone. All the people were gone. The buildings were gone. And so I've come up with my version of what happened. And no one can dispute me because it is a mystery.
Very cool.
So, yeah, Ronnie gets sent back to that time period. And so there's a lot of Native American culture, and there's a lot of English issues. And so she's kind of caught between the two sides of that. And it was very fun to write and quite an adventure to read.
Yeah, very nice. You'll have a book signing this weekend too, right?
Yes. Barnes & Noble at 2:00. There's a signing with myself and a few other authors will be there as well.
Okay, very cool. And where can people purchase your latest book and all of your books? Well,
all of my books are available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, iTunes, Apple Books, all of the places that you would hope to find them. And if you don't find them somewhere, then let me know. I'll get it to you.
So you already you have this book that's out. Are you already preparing for another one?
Oh, yes. I just did the National Novel Writing Month where you're supposed to write 50,000 words in a month. And I'm writing Killing Time, which is the sequel. Shattering Time kind of wraps up a lot of the storylines, but I throw in a little hint for the third book, called Killing Time. And it's when Ronnie goes to Puerto Rico on a business trip, thinking she's going to get away from Hurricane Ivan, which is about to hit Florida. And unfortunately, Hurricane Jean forms off the coast. And there's a lot to the reason why Hurricane Jean starts off the coast, but that's a mystery you'll have to find out in that book. So,
all right. Thanks for stopping by today.
Thanks for having me.
Yep, and book signing at Barnes & Noble. Books will be available as well there.
Yep, absolutely.
2 p.m. on Saturday.
Thanks.
All right. Thanks for stopping by. Chad Hasty Show, KFYO.